Hello and welcome to the Profitable Coach podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly, head coach at Transformation Academy. From seasoned experts sharing their hard-earned wisdom to rising stars navigating their journey, every episode uncovers the stories, strategies, and lessons behind what it takes to create massive impact and income as a coach. This show is brought to you by Transformation Academy and the Impact Coaching Collective. If you're ready to be inspired, take action, and build the coaching business of your dreams, well, then you are in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back to episode number 71 of the Profitable Coach podcast. Today, I'm joined by Impact Coaching Collective community member, Mishawn Williams. And I gotta tell you, I am in love with this conversation. It was such a joy to get to really get my hands inside of Mishawn's business. And by the end of it, she was letting me give her some mentorship. And we were coming up with so many cool ideas for how to combine her love of wine with her passion for helping people to find their life purpose. So if you want to understand the impact that you can make inside of our community and the type of individuals who are in there thriving, then today's conversation is for you. So without further ado, I will welcome the beautiful, the radiant, the brilliant Mishawn Williams to the show. Welcome back to the Profitable Coach podcast. I am so excited to have with me today the radiant Mishawn Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to have this conversation for a while, actually, but the fact that you just put a book out made it even easier and even juicier at the time. So for people who are brand new to the show, I just want to let you guys know this is one of our Impact Coaching Collective member spotlights, and Mishawn has really been someone that has stood out to me through all the cohorts that I've had her in as a student, as a client, and I'm really excited to get to celebrate some of her recent accomplishments and share her story with you guys. So Mishawn, take us back. How did you first find coaching, personal growth, all of it? What was your inception?
Ooh, that's taking it back for sure. I would say going back, and this, people have mixed feelings about this, but landmark education is one of the first places where I really started to go deep into personal development and training, as far as really challenging myself and my concept of what I thought was possible for me and the world, and starting to really develop even where I am now in terms of my philosophy and thoughts about what's possible for people. And then from there, I really got deep into Jack Canfield's work. Probably just, that's probably in the last 3 to 4 years. And that work for me has it all. So I love really sharing Jack Canfield and success principles. So, those are some key starting points, but
I love it. I love it. And when did it shift from I am doing this for me, I am learning to help better my life, to I really want to take some of the things that have been pivotal and pass them along. I want to coach, I want to help other people.
That really happened for me quite shortly after my landmark experience, which was a few years after starting that. That's where I got in touch with my leadership and how can I make a difference for other people. That was really 10 years ago or so. And I did take on some teaching programs and really working with people to create projects that made a difference. So for me, it's something I certainly stumbled upon, but it's something that has stuck with me for a decade, and I have been continuing to develop myself and hopefully helping other people along the way with the things that are important for them.
Yeah. And for people who have never heard of Landmark, will you explain a little bit about some of the core ethos and why leadership and, leading you towards your leadership roles is really like part of their core messaging?
Yes. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. So, it's really about breaking free from past stories that you have about yourself, right? And it's a very intense, intentional process. But because of that, you really get to see, what are your stories, release them, and kind of move into a brand new world, if you will, or a brand new outlook in life. And so that's the start of it. And then it develops into how do you occur in groups? How do you develop your leadership in groups? How do you, move from that even to doing more in the world that, developing how you communicate with people, how does your message land with people so that you can, again, I keep saying make a difference, but really, you can move forward with what your intention is, whatever that intention is, whether it is in family, whether it's in business, whether it's in your community, that you start to develop yourself and your speaking and your leadership in such a way that you inspire and impact people to actually take action.
I love it. And so if you're willing, I know this is kind of a vulnerable question, but if you're willing to share, what were some of the beliefs that you used to have that you had to shift to step into the person that you've become?
It's a really great question.
No pressure.
I'm trying to think, there was a time where I just thought that I'm just the way I am. And I can't exactly say what that way was, but that is the way I related to myself. I can't do this because this is just the way I am, or take it or leave it. This is just the way I am, so it's this very stuck personality that really was it was probably in my comfort zone. That's really the truth. It was just my comfort zone. So letting go of that really freed me up to think differently and again, stretch myself in more ways, because I no longer relate to myself as this is just the way I am, but more from what can I do? What can I be? What do I want to be? Let me step into that instead of just being stuck.
Yeah. Can you recall any specific moments that you remember showing up differently or embodying someone that you had yet to embody and being like, oh, this stuff is working?
Yeah, a lot of conversations I had to have, bold conversations. There's one point, and this is again further along in my development, is leading programs and training programs, but really being, at the front of the room and not being willing to take a short or an answer from someone where I knew they had more to give. I knew they had more from themselves to be bigger, be bolder. And for me to say, let's stop there. Let's try again in a room full of people. And this is this presence I'm standing in front of and kind of challenging him to be bigger and bolder than he was being in that moment. That for me, I was like, whoa, okay. I can tell I shifted. Something about me was willing to stand in a place that might have been uncomfortable for me, but because I saw something available for that person,
I love that story so much because I feel like that is a really big part of coaching, is being brave enough to sit in the pregnant pause when someone's searching for the answer, being brave enough to challenge them when you intuitively sense that there's something deeper that they haven't yet allowed themselves to answer.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
this is part of why I think that coaching is just as much medicine for us as coaches as it is for the people who are clients, because oftentimes we hear ourselves saying things that we too need to remember.
To hear, right?
Oh my gosh, all the time. I'm
right.
constantly teaching what I most need to learn in any given moment, which is such a gift. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you so much for putting me on this path.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
I just want to say that. I mean, I do love that about the coaching process and relationship. It's like we keep feeding ourselves, it's like we're always growing and we're just always growing. We're always in this space of what's, I don't know, reminding ourselves of, who we want to be and constantly stepping into that. And that's our humanity, right? It's like, we're never done, and that's okay. We just get to our little reminders. We get to just take that next step. And it's a beautiful place to be in. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And you're reminding me earlier today, we were on the Future Self Life Coaching Certification Program, and we are talking about the power of focus and really allowing yourself to choose a priority for this season of life and
Mm,
let everything else fall away temporarily. And how
that's good.
impactful it can be when we do give ourselves the discipline to focus for a season. But
Mhm.
with that understanding that what you're focusing on will evolve. Like focus for this
Yeah.
season, knowing there will always be another season. Like spring always follows
Right.
winter, summer always follows spring. And when we can allow ourselves to keep showing up with what's alive and real and true for right now, knowing that will keep changing. What a gift.
Yeah.
We get to keep being
Yes.
dynamic.
I like that. We are dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm hearing that it was pretty soon after finding Landmark, finding this new world, you were leading trainings, you were making an impact. How did you first find those opportunities? A lot of people come into the community and they're like, "How do I speak? How do I coach? How do I find people?"
Yeah. I mean, honestly, part of it was inside of Landmark. I was a
Mm.
program leader for the Self Expression and Leadership Program, which is one of my most favorite programs and experiences. After that, I was in my business in the wine world, and so in that business, I started having teams and developing teams, and started to do trainings. Whether they're in the world of being personal development or skills, business
Mm.
development skills, those things start to happen. And then from there, I really got in touch with the love of speaking, just through, all of my experiences, and certainly through leading trainings and programs that I've done, like workshops just online that I've invited people to. And sometimes it was just, my business team, but sometimes we shared outside the team. So a lot of it was doing things online, inviting people to attend. And I used to do these monthly, and that just gave me more and more opportunity to share a concept, to get, connected with people, to keep, doing really what I loved. So that's really so. How did I find those opportunities? I just created them. So, it's like, yeah, it was like,
I
I'm going
love
to talk
that.
about this and I'm going to email my people. And not a lot of people, but
Yeah.
just email my people.
Yeah. And I imagine the more you did it, the easier it became and the more people who came. And
Exactly.
even if like one week you didn't have the same numbers as the previous, you would know that it doesn't matter. I'm gonna show up again next month and I'm gonna do it again, and maybe there'll be even more next month. And that understanding that life is not linear. So why should anything be linear?
Absolutely. 100%. That is exactly what it looked like. Sometimes,
What did
they're, go ahead. Mhm.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, like, what did you have to learn to be able to step into hosting online workshops? I think there's a big barrier to entry for some people, and I want to like minimize that.
Yeah, I think I had to learn one, just do it. I mean, I just, that I know it sounds simple, but that was one. It's just like put it out there. And once it's out there, then you do the things that you know you need to do to get people there. And that is where it takes some tweaking for me, certainly, because that's the promotion piece, right? That's the visibility piece. So it's what I had to learn was put it out there, like just choose the date, choose the time that works for you, and market, and then start sharing it. How do you share? I had to learn how to share consistently, through email and social media, right? I had to learn how to identify who were the people who I know love me and might show up because they love me. Who are the people who I know would appreciate this kind of content? Who are the people who I know who would be willing to share what I'm putting out? So I think those are some of the things I had to learn. I also would say, obviously being on Zoom, this is, this is years ago when I started to do this, learning just how to be on camera, where to look when I'm on the camera, those kind of technical things. But the main things for me is the promotion and the visibility, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And what have you tweaked over the years in terms of how you promote yourself, how you get in front of new audiences?
Yeah, I would say what I've tweaked now is trying to utilize more groups on social media. I've tweaked now more reaching out to, again, collaborative partners, who other people in the space, right? I know who might have an audience that they can share what I'm doing with. I've also tweaked doing things like, I host the things, the workshops I put out on Eventbrite. So now I've used Bright's platform to promote. So maybe I pay a little bit more for some advertising so it gets shown to a greater audience. But you know what? I'm okay with that because it has brought a lot more people to my workshops, which allows me to, of course, reach more people, to have more opportunity to bring people into my community, to have more opportunity to, share with people what kind of programs and opportunities I have coming up. So,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
What kinds of workshops have you used Eventbrite specifically for? Are they personal growth workshops? Are they wine related?
Specifically and most often personal growth. So I one of my focus points and one of the areas that I really concentrate on is discovering your life purpose, which Transformation Academy has been essential for me with, which has been really great. But that's something I feel like when we uncover our life purpose and we pursue that purpose, we really, really are walking with the highest expression of ourselves. And I feel like decisions get to be made easier. I feel like we are just in our true essence. I'm also all about full self-expression. When we are pursuing our purpose, we get to be that. So most of the workshops I've done on Eventbrite and promoted were life purpose workshops.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
did you land on that niche?
Yeah, this is a wonderful story to me just because
Mhm.
it was so pivotal, when I got to really put my finger on my own life purpose, everything lit up. And I actually talk about that in my book too. It's just discovering my life purpose was for me was a moment, an instant, and maybe it's because I've been doing so much personal growth work. I don't think it happens like that all the time. But honestly, I was listening to a chapter from the Success Principles, the Jack Canfield work that I mentioned earlier. And again, this is another reason why I really fell in love with that work. But I was driving in my car one sunny afternoon in Los Angeles. I was listening to his instruction about working through how do you come up with your life purpose. And I did that work while I was driving in the car. And when I got it, it just, again, light bulbs, fireworks, just, the whole thing happened for me and it made it really clear. And I've since refined it to simplify the life purpose, but it just shifted so much for me in that moment. And my life purpose and how I describe it now is to inspire and empower people to be fully self-expressed and have a life of having it all. So that is really for me how I like to look at what I'm doing and make choices and kind of check myself when I'm off, against that purpose.
I love that. What are some things that you do differently now that you're living more in alignment with that version of yourself than who you were being before when you didn't necessarily get to have it all?
Yeah, I would say I just look around a lot more. I look around, I notice, I want to take stock of all of the beauty in my life, everything there is to be grateful for. I definitely talk a lot about that. And I'm sure most everyone in this community who are listening right now, who are here with us right now, really do understand the power of gratitude. And I believe that's the access, or at least one of the access points to seeing your have it all life. And so I think that's something that shifted for me was, and to this day, when I'm feeling off or I'm feeling like heavy, burdened by something, I try to like look at, okay, what can I be grateful for, and flip that switch, right? So that's something. The other piece is challenging myself to, and I try to challenge people I work with as well. This is one of the things I talk a lot about as well, is getting out of an either or perspective about life, right? Like, how can we have it all? What's possible in conversation with people, in collaboration? How can you see outside of either this or that to encompass more of what you want to have happen in life, in a moment, in a project, all of those things. And I get caught up as well. I get caught up sometimes. I get caught in either or thinking from time to time as well. But that's the challenge, is like in having that awareness to catch myself.
Yeah, shifting from or to and. And I also love the way that you described it. I can see it applying to so many different areas of life. Like
Yeah.
in my business, how can I reach a lot of people and still be sovereign with my time? How can I have
Yes.
an impact and
Yeah.
still
Yes.
maintain a sense of privacy? And
Yes.
really understanding that you can have both. It might look different
Yeah.
than what you're seeing other people do. I know some people here who are watching live will resonate with this because they're like, I don't want to do social media. And I'm like, you don't have to. It's like one of my hills
Yeah.
I will die on.
Yes. I love that.
But
I
I
love
see it
that.
everywhere from like the boardroom to the bedroom. Like how can we shift from it's either going to be this or that, your way or
That's
my
right.
way, this version or that version, to like actually there's probably this really cool middle ground that we haven't considered. And
Yes.
there's a world I really believe in where we all get to win. Like,
Yeah.
let's co-create that together. And I mean, this is gonna get a little tangential for a second, but I really feel like as a society, that's what we're moving towards. There's so much crumbling right now, so that we
Mm.
get to come back together and be like, actually, there's a version where we all get to win.
We all get to win. We
Yeah.
all get to just be who we are, and that's okay. you
Mhm.
know, we all get to have our self expression, and that's okay. And there's room for it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So tell us a little bit more about the book. You held it up. Go ahead and hold it up
Yeah, I
again.
did. I know. I hope you
Yeah.
can see it. I'm so excited about this book. This is called Believe Beyond. It is a collaborative book project. So there are 24 other authors included in this book. And it's been a super exciting process. And I feel like it captures, everything we're talking about right now: life purpose, living beyond limits. In fact, that's the name of my chapter: Living Beyond Limits, How to Have It All. And I love this. I had a coach in this book project, the publisher, Kate Butler, who's been fabulous, and she really helped me to kind of pick from different pieces and influences in life to really to create this chapter, which I love. I'm really excited about it anyway. So yes.
Tell us how you got involved. There's so many different approaches that people can take when they want to
Yes.
get their expression out there, from traditional publishing to self-publishing to collaborative publishing. And I would love for you to sort of peel back the curtain and share with us what was the route that you took and why.
So with this, I like this kind of project, a collaborative book project, because it's multiple voices on one theme. You get to, again, build a community with the authors that are involved. Everyone's involved with promoting it, sharing it, doing collaborative events around it. So it becomes fun. The energy is really great. It really helps to, get yourself to a best-selling status, because everyone's working together to create this energy and create this momentum. And so I like that kind of experience. This particular publisher, puts out collaborative books. I was familiar with her through my coaching community. And so that is how I came to know her. But there are a lot of opportunities around with collaborative books. And I'm probably, you could probably even do a search and find, if you're someone who's looking to be a part of a book project, but you don't want to be responsible for the entire book, all of the promotion and marketing and publishing and all that, you can probably find some opportunities online for people who are looking for other authors to collaborate with.
I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
so what do you see this book doing for you in terms of opening doors, being a credibility piece, that kind of thing? What is your vision moving forward?
Uh, it's a great, great question because I truly believe that when I said yes to participating in this book, that was the first intuitive sign, right, for me to say yes. I knew that this book was going to be, yes, a credibility piece for me. It was going to be the vehicle for me to really express myself. And what I see now, having been more of a part of it, is that it's the launch pad for me to doing more speaking, which is truly what I want to do, right? I talked about that earlier. Like I just show up online and doing workshops because I like to do this kind of thing, you know? And this book and this chapter, I I just knew like this is going to be the start of my next chapter, which is doing more speaking and doing more group programs. I want to do more with the life purpose group group programs, life purpose, and some of the other certifications that I have, and I know that I can. Do more with for people. So that's what I see is available, and I'm in works to make that happen. I'm so excited about it. I'm like, where's the international stage? Let's go. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I was muted. I'm sorry. We were
Yeah.
just talking about this on Future Self today, Future Self Life Coaching Certifications. Like,
Yes.
okay, when you decide that international speaking is actually the goal versus I'm going to host a workshop online, 2x
Yeah.
goal, international
Yeah.
speaker, 10x goal.
Yeah.
The universe moves to
It,
support that. The actions are
that's so
different.
exciting. That's exciting to hear that. And just to share this too, I mean, it's new. It's new for me to be saying this. International stages, international speaker. That was not my reality a few months ago. I'm just this
Quantum leaps,
these
baby.
yes, quantum leaps, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Each step almost it like pushes you forward, and then you can see things differently and you start to step into it differently. I literally was not saying this before, and now I'm saying it. I know it's emerging. It's
Mm.
emerging.
And remind me, you and your family are based in Mexico? Is that accurate?
Yes, yes. So we are from Los
Technically
Angeles. There
international
you
if
go.
you're a US citizen. So get yourself on a stage in Mexico, and that goal is check, check.
That is awesome. I hadn't even thought of that. That's
You
true.
think people don't drive to Canada and say, I'm an international speaker? They do.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm laughing so hard over here. That's so great. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. And so, for those of you who are listening to this episode on a podcast app or you're watching YouTube, we're actually recording live, and we have a question from one of the live viewers. She said, have you had
Yes.
any unexpected responses from your book? Was there a story or a moment that resonated with people in a way that you didn't expect?
Um, Not yet, but I can't wait to hear more. I mean, listen, if you read the book, read the chapter, contact me, let me know what resonated with you. I would love to hear comments and feedback about what's landing with people for sure. I mean, what I have heard so far is just, that it's moving people with a life purpose story. I've heard that. And definitely the either or um, conversation that I have in there. But I would love to hear from anyone who's reading the book or reach out to me and share. I mean, that would be amazing.
Beautiful. I love we just opened the door for that. For those of you who are just tuning in, it is a recently launched book. So I have no doubt that the feedback, the reviews, the comments, the raving
Yeah.
testimonials will continue to pour in. So we
Yes.
can do like a follow-up conversation and ask that
That'd
again.
be awesome. Yes, that'd be awesome.
I've heard a lot
So,
of like how do I say this? A heavy focus inside of your business has been around groups and stages, really
Yeah.
working the one to many angle. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do you do any one-on-one coaching or have you ever? Has that been a part of your business model?
Actually, not it hasn't in this coaching space. I have coached many people in my team in terms of my business, my wine business, right? I'm coaching people and developing them on goal setting, of course, how to, put themselves out there, just business development, those kind of things. So that has definitely been happening for years. But in the personal development space, people who I'm working with directly who have come to me from that route, more group. Yeah,
Mhm,
so far.
mhm. And is that I take it it's because that's what lights you up more.
It really does. I like that a lot. I like seeing people feed off of each other and just connect with each other. I like to see how one person's share actually impacts someone else in the room, whether it's a virtual room or an in-person room. You can
Yeah.
see people shifting in that environment, and I really like that. Yeah, I mean, and
Mm,
I'm not opposed to the one-on-one. It just hasn't been my drive. Yeah.
yeah. No, but I love that about this conversation because
Yeah.
it's such an example of a different path. I think a lot of people come in and they follow the one-on-one track, not
Mhm.
because it's actually what compels them, but it's because it's the only thing they've really been exposed to. And so
Right.
getting to see, oh, I've always wanted to be a part of a book, but the whole book felt daunting. I
Right.
didn't know there was a collaboration
Yes.
aspect possible. Oh,
Yes.
I could teach and mentor on the topics that I'm currently getting certified in as a coach. That's cool. I like that more than trading my time,
Yeah.
for one-on-one
Yeah.
calls. So it's good just to like
Yes.
be expanders and show people what's possible.
And I want to say something about that too, to tack on to what you just said. There was a moment where I said to myself, "Oh, I should do the one-on-one thing because maybe that's going to be easier for me to get a client, easier for me to manage." But when I really checked in with myself, again, talking about life purpose and like what's going to, light me up, how am I going to be more fully self-expressed? I kept coming back to group speaking in group, and so I have again like kind of recommitted to that, and that feels good to me, and that feels good, and that's another piece. What feels good to you as your direction, right? And listening to that as a way to know what's next for ourselves.
Yeah, totally. And allowing the calibration and recalibration to be part of the process. Maybe you entertain group for a bit or you entertain
Yes.
one-on-one for a bit to try it out. This is something that I say inside all my programs is like being an entrepreneur means you are like a full-time experimenter. And if you look at everything as an experiment, then A, you don't take things so personally when they don't go the way that you thought they might. And you're like, oh, okay, let me look at the ingredients that were present for this experiment and what do I need to shift? What new
Yeah.
hypothesis can I create and new actions can I take to create a different outcome? And again, going back to we're always evolving. We get to
Always
shift what
evolving.
our purpose is. We get to evolve the way we approach it. And it's our business, so we might as well do what feels good.
That's right. 100%. What feels good is, going to, for me, what feels good in intuition, that is really going to tell you, what's the next step. A lot of the times.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
yeah.
I would love to if there's any way in which you merge your wine business with your personal development goals.
Yes. This is something I play with. I do play with this, like how do I? So the one way that this has emerged for me, and something that I really truly want to do, is do retreats in wine regions around the world where we are going to be doing some personal development, maybe the first part of the day. Oh, I love all the hearts coming out. We do personal development and growth and all that the first part of the day. Maybe there's some wine tasting with the winemaker, the later part of the day. Of course, lovely wines at dinner, the winemaker joining us for dinner. Like that is kind of how I see it coming together in a really beautiful, seamless way.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I have so many ideas for you, Mishawn. I think, okay,
All
so
right.
one, when I zoom out, are you
Yes.
open to some mentorship as I just tell you what excites?
Please,
Okay, cool.
yes, please. Okay, just let me take a pause here and say mentorship from you is a gift, an absolute gift, Kimberly. So whatever you have to share with me, I am open and I am receptive and I am following. So
I love it. I love
share.
it. Thank you so much. Okay, when I zoom out and I look at the health and wellness, personal growth, life optimization industry, right? I'm bunching
Yes.
all of those under the same umbrella. There are
Mhm.
those people who are having a really strong conversation against alcohol, right? Against sugar,
Yes.
alcohol,
Yep.
TV, you name it. Like they have a stance against something that a lot of people enjoy and a lot of
Yes.
people could call a vice. Here's where you come in. It's good to take stances. Maybe Mishawn's stance is you can enjoy the finer things in life. Let me give you a bunch of statistics about the longevity of Europeans who've been drinking wine every day for
That's right.
centuries. Let me
That's
be
right.
the opposing voice to the
I like
people who
that.
are anti-alcohol. Personal growth and Pinot, like whatever, you know.
Like, yes,
See the hearts,
exactly.
I see the reactions coming towards
Yeah,
me.
I love it.
And is there a world in which people come and they get to, and I'm really dreaming big here, they get to create their own label or their own vintage at your retreat? And they're white labeling. They're putting their name on something that already exists. But that label represents like the new version of themselves, the new chapter they're starting after leaving your retreat. So you partner with the winery, they allow you to white label one of their like bottles that they make
Yeah.
often. And it's just this like really collaborative, really creative, really we're carving out this section of the market kind of
Yes.
approach to personal growth. Vanessa says sign me up. And
Sign
I know
me
it sounds
up.
amazing.
Yes.
I'll send my mom, she would love it. Doesn't that
You
sound
know what?
cool?
It's so cool. You have touched on some really, really key points right now. One of the things I do offer in my business, existing wine business, is personal labeling for wines. So that is awesome that you connected that. Like this is represents a new version of myself. I didn't see that, so I love that. Two,
Mm.
this is okay. So I'm just looking around behind my shoulder. This is like a secret. I just secured a website called Wine and Wellbeing. And
Mm.
that is because, oh my God, right? So the fact
How
that
was
you
that not
just touched
taken?
on that, I mean, right? So,
Wow.
because I was looking like wine, how can wine and your wellness and your well-being coexist, right? Getting back into it's not either or, right? How can it be both and how can we make space for all of it in this world
Yes,
respectfully,
and that was thank you for mentioning that because that was the last piece that I forgot to say was it really brings home your whole ethos of you
Yeah.
get to have it all. You can be mentally and emotionally supported and stable and enjoy going to wine tastings. Enjoy
Exactly.
having a wine flight with your dinner, whatever, a wine pairing.
Yes.
Like there's a
Yes.
world and maybe your unique what is it, formula or method, Mishawn method, whatever you want to call it, is
Yeah.
teaching them how to do it. Most people
Yeah.
don't know how to have it all. They're so into
Mhm.
extremes that they're either like sabotaging themselves by overdoing it with the wine, or they're cutting
Yeah.
themselves off completely, which doesn't last because they really enjoy this thing. So
You really
depriving
enjoy
themselves of
it.
joy isn't sustainable. So oh my God, I'm like, let's have a one-on-one session on this stuff is just flowing through right now.
This
So I
is
just see some
exciting.
unique
Yeah.
angles for the corner of the market that you're currently
I
But
thank
what about
you. No, thank you so much for offering all of that because again, it allows me to broaden my thinking and what I can see happening next for me. I mean, it's, finding space for all of it. It's fun. That's fun, you know.
you?
So,
Like,
yeah.
is there a vintage with a specific label that you create that pairs perfectly with the book? So when people come to a
Ooh,
book signing, they get to take home a bottle that has like the Believe Beyond book. I don't know what
that
your contract looks like if you're allowed to do that,
yeah,
but
yeah. Exactly. But I can maybe do it for my own chapter or something. I don't
yes,
know. These are things to look
yes,
into, right? Or maybe the
right?
publisher would be open to that. See, it's all in conversation. It's all in
Mishawn's
conversation.
Merlot, what you
There
sip
we go.
while you savor the words I wrote for you.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Can I just have you? I just talk to you all the time. I'm like, Kimberly, what do you have for me today? You're better than Chat GPT.
Wow, my ego thanks you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, so fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
so
we have
good.
a few minutes left, but
Okay.
before we wrap, I want to know, is there anything specific that stands out to you over your coaching journey, over your personal growth journey that you're like, man, I really wish I had known that in the beginning. It would have saved me a lot of headaches or a lot of heartache.
Yes. I would say throughout my coaching journey, there's so much information. There are so many mentors, and there's so many ways that you can do something. I wish that I had settled on two, maybe three mentors and just dive in and just go and just like give it the time to really get into I'm following them for a reason. I believe in them for a reason. So stick with that one, two, or three tops, probably mentors and their approach, and go deep and really work that approach before going on to the next thing. Because that's when I feel like I've probably taken too much time. I've then tried something else. And instead of really, going deep with what I believe in and know to be aligned, there's just so much good stuff out there. So it's hard sometimes to stay in one place, but I do believe there's a lot of value when we commit to, just a few mentors at a time and really give it the time that it needs.
Yeah, yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree. I'm in the second year with one of my mentors, and it feels good to have been committed to one world, one universe, if you will,
Exactly.
around growing my business. And
That's
I,
right.
I don't know that I'll sign up for a third year. There might be
Right.
an evolution that's ready to happen, a graduation, if you will.
Sure.
But to be with one for years, and Tony Robbins was probably that person for me 10 years ago, which was
Yep.
so powerful. And then I feel
Mhm.
grateful to be part of your journey now as a winner
You know
circle
you
member.
are. Yes. Exactly. I mean, exactly. Like, and that's what I feel is like you right now are a mentor for me, and I love your energy and what you put out there. So for me, it's like, okay, what is Kimberly doing? What are the materials in the trainings? Because it feels good. Again, it feels aligned, and I want to keep on that journey. So I am committed to the year with you in the winner circle, which has been amazing. That community is fire and always contributing to each other. So yeah, these things, I think they work for us when we work and we commit. So
Love it. Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the one-to-many sales training that I gave this. Highly recommend, given what it is that you have in the like, sphere of what you want to create. I think that would be a good one for you.
yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So last is, what are you most excited about?
I am so excited right now about reaching people like from the stage and doing more speaking engagements. I'm really, really excited about, I've got I would say a very self-directed but still community-based program that I'm launching this month. It's called the Miracle Mindset. I hope it's okay if I talk about this.
Oh,
Yes.
please, yes.
Okay.
Share what you have going
Yeah.
on.
Yes. So I'm launching this program. It's actually a program created by the publisher of the Believe Beyond book, Kate Butler, and it's called the Miracle Mindset. And I love program because it's super simple. It's a little daily, 10-minute drops on how to develop your miracle mindset. So you're starting to see and experience miracles daily. And so it's really on people's own, but I like to do this like once a year. And so I invite my community to do it together. And thanks to you, I've been introduced to Telegram world. So we're going to have groups and community on Telegram to support, every day, and do a live kickoff call, and then like a little celebration call at the end. Bring your champagne, your bubbly of any kind. And that's what it's going to be. So I'm excited about that, and doing more. Again, it's a group style program. So doing more of those.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So people have fallen in love with you. Where can they go follow you? Where can they get more Mishawn?
So they can get more Mishawn on my link tree. That's the easiest way to connect with me, which is tree.
Yeah, we'll have it.
Okay, thank you. Linktree/Mishawn. That's the best way to kind of know what I'm up to. I am semi on the socials, but if you're going to do the socials, the Instagram is based on my love of wine. It's vinov.the.wine.life. Those are the best places to catch me.
Amazing. And we will have all of those links in the show notes. Thank you so much, Misha. It was so much fun getting to get my hands in your business a little bit and just celebrate you and this epic book and the impact that you're making and the energy that you bring to everything that you do. Hopefully people will watch us on YouTube. You'll get to see Mishawn's gorgeous face and feel her beautiful soul.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. This has been such a delight. So much fun. So much fun. And thank you everyone for coming and being with us today as well.
Yeah, thank you to our live listeners and to everyone who's tuning in later. We appreciate you. Big thank you to Mishawn for today's fun conversation. If you want to get access to her book, if you want to know more about how you can work with Mishawn, then head over to theprofitablecoach.com/071. There we will have all the show notes for today's conversation and any of the juicy resources that we talked about. So thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next episode.